Hey there, this is Greg, the Masked Gamer, coming to you with some more Final Girl Fridays. Today we're going to be doing my first game of Terror from Destiny, the special vignette of Season 3, which is based on the hit franchise Final Destination, of which there's a new installment coming later this year, so that's exciting. You might see a little bit of it in the frame right now, but there is a major Season 3 spoiler that is going to be involved in this playthrough. If you do not want to have a major Season 3 spoiler, then you probably should just skip this one and watch one of my many other ones. But something's going to make an appearance? Yes. For those of you who are new to this channel, this is a place for board game folks, for COVID cautious board game folks to talk about board games. If you're not COVID cautious, you're perfectly welcome to be here, provided there is no minimization, denialism, or harassment of any kind. With that said, this is a solo game, so I will be doing this without my mask today, and you can see my face as I die terribly, and I'm definitely going to die terribly in this one. So let's talk a little bit about what we see on the board here. First of all, we're going to be using the final girl, Gabrielle, and her abilities are her ultimate is once per action phase, I may look at the top card of any deck or the Dark Power or Finale card, which is going to be extra important here while we try to escape Destiny. We're going to be playing this in Camp Happy Trails because when I do the vignettes, there's so many extra rules. Camp Happy Trails has no extra rules, so it ends up just being the best place to try these stuff out for me. We'll notice there's a whole lot more miniatures involved than there is usually in a game of Final Girl. That's because each of these are the fated victims. These are the 5 people that should have died and avoided death and are going to die soon anyway. What order are they going to die in? How are they going to die? We don't know. That's what the whole point of this scenario is. So that's what we have on that side of the board. On the other side of the board, this wasn't there. That was like over there, I think, right? Yeah, I think so. On the other side of the board here, we have our little vignette area, our hidden dark power, and our randomized death order, which for us is going to be death at 30,000 feet. So we're doing Final Destination 1. The victims are randomized and will be killed in the order of the arrows. The first person to die is the person who is unlucky enough to be using the toilet when the plane crashed. How fun. Then on the top of the board, we have these consequences and punishments. This is the order in which the people are supposed to die. So at the start of the scenario, this person's going to die first. Oh no, so sad for them. Whoever we don't manage to save at the right time, we are going to, at the end of the scenario, reveal those cards. There's going to be a consequence, which is a condition that has to be fulfilled. And if that condition cannot be fulfilled, then the punishment will happen, which will do damage to me. And if I die during that phase of events, then it's game over for me. You'll also notice, unfortunately, I can't do anything about light coming through my windows during the day here, so we are going to have the overbearing specter of death chasing us around. With that said, this is the first time I'm playing this, so I'm going to read the storybook entries for both Terror from Destiny and Gabrielle before we dive on in and get ourselves horribly mutilated and killed. Terror from Destiny. Gabrielle, and we're not going to be doing gruesome deaths for this because they don't have crossover gruesome death series, which means I am going to make up the death sequences based on where they are at Camp Happy Trails when terrible things occur. Gabrielle watched in horror as everyone around her, strangers and friends alike, were ripped asunder by the destruction that tore through the cabin of the airplane as it flew towards Miami, 30,000 feet above the ground. Tommy, the rebel, I think that's this one. I think this is Tommy the rebel. Tommy, the rebel, who tried so hard to be rebellious that it completely defeated the purpose, was engulfed in flames, his spiky hair igniting like a child's birthday cake candle. Agnes, the bookworm, that's definitely her. She's Agnes the bookworm. Agnes the bookworm, with a heart of gold. She was sucked through the gaping hole in the plane's fuselage, disappearing into the black void beyond without even making a whimper. Mia, goth girl extraordinaire, screamed and screamed until a jagged piece of metal flying through the cabin took her head and the heads of everyone around her clean off French Revolution style. Caleb, Gabby's once-upon-a-time crush, had his head crumpled like a soda pop can by a service cart that not 5 minutes earlier was being pushed through the aisles by an overly chipper flight attendant. And Sandra, Caleb's once-upon-a-time crush, and Sandra, Caleb's cheerleader girlfriend, the prom queen to his prom king, was there 1 second and gone the next, her entire row of seats evaporating in fiery explosion. Gabby barely registered each of her friend's brutal deaths, as the air around her bloomed with fire and she felt her skin melting off her face before everything went completely black. And then she woke up, standing in the security checkpoint of the airport, about to place her shoes on the x-ray machine's conveyor belt, and began screaming at the top of her lungs. Airport security naturally refused to let the screaming college student and her 5 friends on their way to spring break in Miami through the checkpoint, resulting in all of them missing their flight. Womp, womp, womp. Tommy, Agnes, Mia, Caleb, and Sandra were fuming, absolutely furious with Gabby for ruining their plans, until the announcement came over the airport loudspeaker that all flights had been canceled due to the in-air explosion of Flight TN4656 on its way to Miami. Everyone thought they were lucky. Everyone thought Gabby's insane vision in the middle of the airport security line had been a blessing in disguise. Everyone breathed a sigh of relief that they hadn't been on that plane. Well, that was until Tommy accidentally stepped on his kid sister's tricycle in the driveway, falling on his back and pushing it out into the road where passing trucks swerved to avoid it, careening into Tommy's front yard and slamming into the old maple tree that his mom had been bugging his dad for years to cut down. You know, the maple tree that only needed a small push conveniently provided by the runaway pickup to tip over with a crack and land on Tommy's head, squashing it flat like a rotten orange. Then Agnes died in a freak kitchen accident where one hand got caught in the blender and the other in the garbage disposal, ripping her arms off in opposite directions. The company that made the blender promised in its infomercials that the Blendmaster 666 could shred a lead pipe if you wanted it to. A human arm was a piece of cake. Very quickly, Gabby figured out that her friends were dying in the order they had been fated to die on the plane. Some power from beyond the grave, call it death, fate, or destiny, was taking them all one by one, and it was up to her and her alone to figure out who was next and save them from a fatal freak accident. But who was next? And could she get to them in time before the long arm of destiny claimed another victim? If she couldn't save her friend, she knew she was doomed herself. Destiny had been cheated, and it wanted its due. Speaking of Gabrielle, she had always been... Oh, here she is. She had always had an overactive imagination. Her parents had her professionally tested multiple times, thinking she was gifted or neurodivergent or special in some way. The tests always came back negative, the doctors insisting her daydreams and visions were normal for her age. And then one day Gabby's vision saved her life, and the life of her friends, or so she thought. Tips for playing with Gabrielle. Gabrielle's ultimate ability is extremely versatile. You can use it to look at the top card of an item deck before you decide to perform a search, look at the top card of the tarot card to see what the killer is about to do in the next killer phase, or look ahead to the finale so you aren't surprised and caught unprepared for any finale reveal events. You know, that would have been real helpful last time when I got that you die in one hit and that it heals back to full life thing. I don't know if I could have saved anything in Utopia. But here we go. So, the whole trick to this is I can't just save the victims, right? I have to save the victims in the correct order. Now, when I save one of the victims, I already forgot how this works because it's so wild already. Where is it? I would put it on the first death token on the death order card. So I have to figure out who the first victim is before I save any of them. And the only way to do that is by using the premonition action. So, with that said, I'm going to have to figure out how to get that premonition action, which means I'm going to need some time. So probably the best thing to do for me is going to be to rescue some of these idiots over by the fire pit to at least get to a point where I unlock my ultimate ability, but to make sure I am saving enough time for this stuff. So, with all that said, this might actually be a good scenario for me to focus on focusing. Oh, and because we're doing death at 30,000 feet, every time the destiny symbol comes up, I lose 2 time. So that could be really, really, really bad as well. That'll be fun. It's going to be fun. It's going to be great. Okay, Here we go. So maybe we'll start with focusing to try to use my extra cards to get our horror down as much as possible in this scenario. Okay, I got 1 success on that, which lowers my horror by 1. And this is how I used to start every game of Final Girl until I realized that it wasn't working out for me. But maybe today it'll make sense and work out for me. Oh, for those of you... Fudge Pickles! For those of you who are not used to watching me do this, I only show the location in the killer board, but I have moved my little camera down to here so you can see the whole consequence trail on the top, for the most part. There's also something hovering just off film that is a major Season 3 spoiler, and you will likely see if you keep watching. So, you've been warned. I'm going to discard 2 cards to turn that second focus into a success, lowering my horror to 3. I've got just my 2 walk cards left. Yeah, I'm going to play one of them because I can always move even if I fail. And sure enough, I failed, but I didn't get any tears out of it. But I am going to move 1 space towards this exit, lose 1 health, and lose 2 more time. How sad. That was a mistake. Okay, well, I'm going to use the 2 time I've got to grab my first premonition and pop all of these cards back into La La Land over here. So that was a mistake. I should not have used that last card. Because now I only have 1 spare card in my hand, which means if I don't roll well on the next roll, I'm not going to find out anything with my premonition. And we always know somebody that a fated victim will not die on the first turn, so it should have been somewhat safe, and yet here we go. Okay. There is no escaping fate. I must... If there's no victims on the board, discard this and draw the next tarot card. Otherwise, kill 1 victim at each exit space. But none are on exit spaces because I didn't move any of them there because I was somewhat smart. Finally, the destiny will advance, which means we're going to lose 2 time. Okay, so here we go. We're going to take the risk and we're going to try to do this premonition to reveal some of these things. I can reveal any unknown and check anything that is face down. So I got 1 success, which is all I needed here. So I can reveal that the first fated victim is going to be Agnes, the bookworm. So she is the first person that I need to save. This might be inappropriate, I don't care. She was on her period, so she was on the toilet, and it was a very, very gross, terrible death for her. She's all the way over here. So I got to get all the way over there in order to save her. I'm going to go ahead and try to use this walk to make some ground because I'm going to need it. Yes, I spent 1 time, and I am going to go back to the space I was in before on my way to try to rescue Agnes. I have 3 time to spend. One of those is obviously going to be a sprint now that I'm running, and the other one will be a thwart destiny to try to save me some time if that comes up again because this is going to be wild. It's going to be wild. It's going to be... Okay. So, forgot one thing. When the terror deck runs out, there is no finale. We just see how much damage I take based on whether I was successful or not in salvaging people's lives. Okay. So, next terror card. And, of course, I've immediately drawn a fated death. Okay. Oh, if that person was in limbo. Okay, I see. So, Agnes. After everyone drove to Camp Happy Trails for their spring break after not crashing on the plane, they decided to join the rest of their friends at a camp instead, because that was the smart thing to do. Well, she was on her way to the makeout point, thinking she was going to make out with the rebel. He tricked her because he's a little douchebag, and he wasn't there. And so she was on her way, running all the way back around to the cabins, which is quite a long walk. However, to go cry in the bathroom by herself. However, she tripped on a rock and fell into a lamppost. And the lamppost fell and knocked over a tree. And the tree fell, and out of the tree came a swarm of hornets, which flew up her exposed skirt and stung her to death in terrible, horrifying ways. Okay, so she died. So I'm gonna read this series of events correctly so I don't mess this up because this is all very, very confusing. Okay, so I drew a fated death card. I check the first death token. We already know that it's Agnes. So Agnes has died. It is by itself, and she is not in limbo. So she will be killed, and she will be placed on the consequence token over here, showing that she was the first person dead. Oh, I don't know how that would work. Oh, I see. So for me to, I'm not actually going to show the spoiler, because for me to show the spoiler, I think I would have needed to actually organize the cards in a circle in order to do what it's really asking me to do. But anyway, she's dead. That's going to be terrible and bad. She wasn't in limbo, so that extra consequence doesn't happen. Bloodlust is still increased, which means horror goes up. Okay. I discard the death token. I move the arrow one space to the right to the next consequence. And it should always match with death token is next, so that would be the second one. Okay, so yeah, so I did all the right stuff. Oh, that sucks. Okay, well, it is what it is. All right, so now I'm stuck yet again without a premonition, and back onto my plan to rescue people to try to get my thing sorted out. Okay, so wonderful. Let's do that thing again where we're going to focus on focus. If there goes my short rest and my weak attack. This should be here to lower my horror from 4 to 3. I'm going to focus again. And I'm going to lower my horror from 3 to 2. I'm going to hold on to everything in my hand instead of trying to walk around this time and be smarter so that I can buy 2 premonitions and get some more of a head start on the rest of this wildness here. Oh, poor Agnes. Okay, that was the end of my turn. We're going up to 6 time left again, and let's see. Nowhere is safe. At least it wasn't another fated death, because with my luck, I could have gotten 5 in a row. Destiny plots your demise as your environment becomes a living nightmare and attempts to kill you. You're attacked for 3 damage and may defend as normal. I don't have any way to prevent that, so I take 3 damage. And because I take 3 damage, I would lose 2 time, but I am going to use my Thwart Destiny to prevent that from happening, so I don't lose the 2 time. Well, now, I wish I had my short rest back, because this thing was trying to kill me. So Destiny tries to kill me even if it's not in the order, is what appears to happen here. So that's fun. Oh, I know what I'll do. I'm going to take Agnes's thing and put it here so that you can see that consequence, and then do the other thing with the 4th victim. The other thing is a secret. It's going to come up later, and you're going to love it or you're going to hate it, but I'll give another big spoiler warning before it happens. But now you can see here very easily that Agnes died at a bad time. Okay, panic phase, no panic, upkeep, no upkeep. So we are going to try to get these premonitions going. So we're going to do premonition number 1, try to find out who our next victim is. Ooh, we got 2 successes, so we can reveal 2 unknowns. So our next victim, we're going to leave it face up for the sake of argument. Our next victim is going to be the goth girl who is hanging out in the lake. And then the victim after that is going to be the cheerleader who is hanging out in the utility shed. So I've got to go get her out next. And of course, I'm not in the best position to do that. We're going to go ahead and try to sprint to get to her. I rolled 1 success on sprint, so I get to move 2 spaces to the dock, and then I have 2 walks. So my first walk is a success, and I get to come here. I could risk trying to get 2 successes to get her out, but I don't trust myself or my luck, so I'm just going to hang on to what I have. I got 4 time left. 2 of it is definitely going to be a sprint. Now that I've learned that I can get attacked anyway, 2 of it's going to be a guard, And we're going to hopefully not have someone die this turn and have a chance to actually save them. But let's see. Nope! Fated death. Wah, wah, wah. I go running into the lake and I scream, "Hey, I forgot your name. Goth girl, goth girl, get out of the lake, get out of the lake, goth girl. You're gonna die next." She looks at me and she says, "Shut up, what do you mean next? I'm not gonna die." Just as the raft that she was sitting on, writing in her journal, starts to come apart at the seams on the ropes. She tries to balance to not fall off of the raft, but her foot slides between two logs which crunch together, crushing her femur. She's now trying to crawl off, but the raft is moving away in the opposite direction and pulls her leg clean off, and she bleeds out on the raft. Okay, that was extreme of me. I came up with some extreme shit there, but things are not looking good for our chances at survival here. We've already got two dead teens and 3 left alive. Yeah, cool. Oh, and Bloodlust goes up, so we're going to reveal the Dark Power, which is Double Trouble. Draw a second Death Order card to be used only for its time effect, and we have to resolve the effect of both. Oh no, so now we're going to have 2 time effects. One is time goes down by 2, and the other is to discard a random action card from your hand. Oh no! As if shit wasn't bad enough. Okay, well, okay. The good news is we know that we need to save the cheerleader next. The bad news is we're, of course, very far away from her as usual. So she is 1, 2, 3, 4, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're going to go up and around because that's going to be the fastest way to get there. The first thing that we're going to want to do, though, is to focus to give ourselves an extra die, hopefully. Of course, that didn't work out the way I wanted it to, so I'm going to discard my weak attack and another focus, which will give me the 1 success I need to move my horror from 2 to 1. And now that it's moved from 2 to 1, I am able to roll 3 dice instead of 2 dice, which should help me make up some ground faster. So the first thing we're doing is we're going to sprint with 3 dice, running to the cheerleader. Sally, Sally, Sally. I rolled 2 successes, so I do get to move 3 spaces. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3. Sally, you've got to follow me, or you're going to die. What do you mean I'm going to die? You're next. What do you mean I'm next? Ain't nobody dead. Well, the nerd and the goth girl are dead. I failed at that roll, so I get 2 tiers because I rolled 2 tiers on it, which is going to be important for me. I'm going to move 1 space into the cheerleader space, lose 1 life, leaving me with 1 left, and lose 2 time, leaving me with 2 time left. Lovely. I am going... should I heal? I'm going to just stop there and use my 2 time to give myself a sprint for next time to keep trying to save anybody, basically. So if I fail to save people, I can still kind of like look at these consequences and see what I need to do to prevent fate from killing me. So all is not lost yet. I fell asleep. What did I miss? Well, that's nice. We're going to just place one random victim who fell asleep on the cabins. We don't even care about them. We're going to get 2 horror. You know, the rest of these people just don't matter to us. They are just innocent bystanders and completely and totally irrelevant. Okay, so I do have a shot of getting the cheerleader out of this. The question is, who am I going to want to rescue next? So I'm going to first start with rolling for my premonition to see if I can figure that out. So I got 1 success on here, which allows me to reveal the next dead person, which is going to be the rebel who's up in the corner here. So that tells me which way I am going to take the cheerleader. Of course, my crush Caleb is the final victim, and he's just going to have to stand there for a minute. Okay, so We are going to, I get 3 dice because I only have 1 life left, so we're going to sprint to the exit. And I whiffed my sprint. Okay. I can't whiff a sprint because if I whiff a sprint, I might die. So, with that in mind, Fudge Pickles, I'm going to have to discard my guard and my short rest to turn that into 1 success and run her 2 spaces to here. Oh wow. I'm going to then spend 2 of my tiers to move 1 more space, thus rescuing the cheerleader. So she is going to at least be fine. That's good. And I put her on the highway, the death count, the death tracker, and that's going to be how I know that I tried to save her. I have 1 card left. I should spend 1 time. I have 1 card left. I'm not going to risk using it. I do have 5 time to spend, so I'm going to get a guard for 2, a thwart destiny for 1, and then I get 2 more, which will be another sprint. And I'm feeling real not fine about finishing this. This might be a pretty short play, but we'll see. Okay. Death is coming for us all. If there are no fated victims on the board, blah, blah, blah. Otherwise, move each fated victim 1 space farther from the exit space closest to them. What's all this noise at the lake? Oh my god! Goth girl, things look gross. This guy is exactly 2 spaces away from 2 exits. So he's just going to actually run to the cabin, which isn't further away from anything, but is not closer either. And then I am going to use the thwart destiny to ignore that symbol. Does that ignore? Means I can ignore 1 destiny symbol. Yeah, it means I ignore. I think that means I ignore both of the effects based on how I read things. So, if I'm wrong, I'm wrong. Tell me in the comments if you made it this far. This one's kind of wild. Okay, so where am I? I'm in the middle of nowhere. I need to rescue the rebel and then rescue the football player. I have no help. I am going to start with focusing to try to get more dice for the sprints. Okay, I got 2 successes on that focus, so that lowers horror by 1 and gives me 2 time. That was a smart move. We're going to do that again with another focus. I got 1 success on that, so time goes down by 1, but now I can roll an extra dice, giving me a total of 4 dice for my desperate attempt to sprint to the rebel. And I have rolled with 4 dice, because my name is Greg. With 4 dice, I have rolled 1 success. So I'm going to move 2 spaces. You've got to come with me. I've managed to save the cheerleader, but I have not managed to save 2 other people. Why would you save the cheerleader before me? Because you're dying in the order you would have died on the plane. Shut up. No, you shut up. No, you shut up. And hence, the dialogue of every Final Destination movie played out in real time. I have tried to walk again. I got 1 success. This time I am going to discard 2 cards to turn that into 2 successes so that I can take him over here. Caleb! Caleb, where are you? I have to come get you next. Okay, so I have 5 to spend here. And I am going to... I'm going to spend 2 on a sprint, 1 on a thwart destiny, and 1 on a premonition to figure out what the 2 things I have to avoid there are. I think that's going to be my plan for here. And then we're going to see what our next terror card is. And it's a tragic accident. Roll a die for each non-fated victim that is alone, and they might die. Okay, so the one in the cabins, just as I was saving the rebel, everything was already coming into play, and there were fire candles falling over, and this person stayed asleep the whole time and died, and our bloodlust goes up. This person is alone as well. The raft has floated all the way across the lake, and she runs out to see what it is. And as she gets into it, she falls into the river and realizes that she can't swim. I've hit a destiny sign, but I have a thwart destiny, so I can stop that from happening. And then this person here just hears a lot of screaming and is fine. Okay, cool. All right, kill him. Kill him, kill him, kill him. So I can't risk sprinting with only one life. That's bad news for me. So I'm going to have to use this short rest first and try to heal some. I got 1 success on my short rest. So I heal 1. Now I'm going to try to sprint with only 3 dice instead of 4 dice, but less likely to die. And I got 2 successes, so I get to remove 3 spaces. Caleb, Caleb, come with me. Why? Because I said so. No. But you have to. No. Yes. No. Okay. Again, dialogue from every Final Destination movie. I'm going to buy a sprint. Oh, I used Thwart Destiny that round, so I can't. So I'm going to buy a sprint and a focus. And a close call, I mean. Now we get to put our Thwart Destiny back over there and see what happens next. Fated Death. However, I have saved the cheerleader, so the fated death does not happen, and I get to heal 2 life because I have saved the cheerleader. The cheerleader has been saved, and she's going to come off to the side over here. Okay. I'm going to move this here. Next. Okay. We have to still save. Yes, we have to still save Caleb. So we're going to roll 3 dice with a sprint. Well, that was a whiff. We're going to discard a weak attack and a close call to turn that into 1 success. And we have gotten Caleb off the map as well. Ooh, oh, this final girl gets to fill out one of my things here, which I forgot. We'll just put it on the lower 1 horror because, sure. Okay, now it's time for me to try to see what my 2 consequences are going to be to see if I can survive. So we get 3 dice, and I got no successes. So we're going to discard, we're going to discard a lot of stuff just to get 2 successes and reveal both of those. So I'm going to discard 2 focuses and 2 walks to reveal 2 unknowns. So our first consequence is, you must have saved at least 6 victims, not included in fated victims. Wow, okay, I've only saved 0. And then the second one is you must have at least 3 items, discard them now. So I don't know what my chances are of fulfilling either of those things. But that's what I have to try to do if I'm going to win. Yikes. I've got 3 time to spend. One of that's obviously going to be a Thwart Destiny. And one of those is going to be a search because I now know that I need to have 3 items in order to get past this alive. And time is running out. Next card. Destiny is mocking us. Oh gosh, it's 2 of those. So I'm going to use my Thwart Destiny on one of those, and then the other one takes place. So I'm going to lose 2 time, bringing me down to 4. And I have to discard a random action card from my hand. That sucks. And that is the search card that I just got. Thanks, Destiny! Okay. It is my turn. I have a guard. So I'm going to get 4 more points of stuff, which will be a sprint and a search. Okay. Fine. That was a really exciting turn for me, let me tell you. Terror. Fated Death. This person has been saved. I can take any action card into my hand that costs 4 or less. That'll be another search. Thank you very much. And that goes here. And this person goes onto my track. And I'm going to put it on move 1 space so that I can move to that dock for free. And this is removed from the game. Okay. My next turn. Oh, look, I'm somewhere where I can search. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm searching at the dock. And I don't even care what I'm searching for. I just want items. I'm going to discard a weak attack and a focus, lower my time by 1, and take a map. Sure, why not? I'm going to search again. I got 1 success. I'm going to lower my time by 1 and take the top item from the dock, which is fireworks. Look at the fireworks. That has stuff to do with killers that I just don't care about at all. Now we are going to try to rescue some of these people. So I got 3 dice. I got 1 success. I can I'm going to discard a short rest and a focus, turn that into 2 successes so that I can move 3. So that is 1, 2, 3. Starting to get some people out of here. And then finally, I'm going to walk. And I got 1 success, lowering my time to 0, but I do rescue 2 of these people. One of those is going to heal me 1. One of those lets me take a search card, but there's no search card to take because they're in the played area, and I just have to kind of suck that up and deal with it. But I did unlock my ultimate, so once per action phase, I can look at the top card of any deck or dark power or finale card from now on, which hopefully will be helpful. Okay, that's the end of that round. We're doing good. We're doing good. I started to realize how this works. I started to mitigate my fate. Things are looking good. Things are looking good. Maybe things are starting to go our way. Draw the top item of any item deck. Look at that. Oh, I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take that whistle. Now I have 3 items. So I've only got. So if I save 4 more victims, I'm good at this point. With the 2 cards I have in my hand, that's going to be really, really, really possible. Okay, so on my turn, I'm going to play Walk. I got 1 success, which is pretty much all I need. I get to come to this space. I'm going to spend time to use my whistle to bring these 3 over here. As long as I have the whistle, 1 additional victim is going to follow me as well. So I'm really on my way to getting everything taken care of if things go well. I've got 4 time left here. I'm going to take a guard and a sprint with that. Oh, no, that's not true. I already have a guard. I'm going to take a thwart destiny, a sprint, and a close call is what I'm going to take. And now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 10 cards. And we're going to go to the killer phase. Fated Death. Well, I saved Caleb as well, which gives me a time because for each additional victim saved. And I also get to take the top card from any item deck. So now I have more items than I needed, which is nice. Oh, it's a flashlight. Oh, I can look at the top card of the terror deck. Well, I mean, I could do it anyway, but well, anyway, okay. My turn. So once per action phase, I can look at the top card of any deck. So we're going to see what this last terror is going to be. It's going to be that I get attacked for 2 because nothing is safe. But I think everything is going to be fine because I think we're just going to be rescuing all the people we need to do. First, I'm going to spend an action to use the whistle, which moves all of these to my space. I'm going to sprint. I got 1 success, which I think is all I'm going to need. I take 3 victims to here, which gives me 3 time, which means, oh, right, I needed to, I've saved 5 out of 6, and then I move 1 space back here with the second half of that, and then I move again with a walk, and I got 1 success, so I take them here. That gives me 2 time because I saved people. I've saved enough of everybody to do what I need to do. So I just have to survive this last attack, which is going to do 2 damage to me, which it can't mess me up. So I'm just going to stand here and say, ha ha, fickle fate. I am attacked for 2. I'm going to roll a guard check. I prevented all damage. So we have outlasted everything. We would have lost 2 life from the first card, no life from the second card. It would have been just fine, and we survived all the rest of these cards. So, we won. Unless I cheated. If I cheated, let me know. But for now, what we're going to do is we are going to do a massive reveal of the secret from Secret Mystery Box number 3. If you don't want to know what that is, close this window now. You've been warned. Okay, here we go. It's the end of my 40-minute video. So here is the secret from Secret Box number 3. It is the Grim Reaper! And it comes with this handy-dandy turning tray on which you can put your dead victims as he collects them from Terror from Destiny. And you can see both the goth girl and the nerd died, but I saved everybody else. Now, I don't know if I was lucky. I don't know if I cheated. I honestly don't know, because it started off so bad, and then it all came together in the end. So if you are watching this and I messed up, let me know how I messed up. I tend to find the vignettes a little confusing, so I would be surprised if I did mess up. But all that said, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to like, don't forget to subscribe, and most importantly, do not forget, that's right, keep those health bars full. Thank you and have a great night.